Hey, it's Cindy, and I decided instead of writing I would talk this time, and I've got a lot to say because I've been thinking about this anniversary that's coming up next week. It's the 46th anniversary of a Supreme Court decision that gave women the legal rights to use contraception, said the state couldn't legislate against it. And hey, isn't that great? But it's sort of bittersweet coming up to this anniversary because if you look back to those times, and with my work at the network, I feel so connected to people who were there and active trying to make change at those times. They were creating this fantastic world. They created a world in which women had the legal right to have birth control. They created the world in which women and men had the right to know what was in the pills and how the devices that they were being given were made. And they created the world just a few years later where the federal government used its money to pay for family planning programs. And, you know, all those things seemed like it was just going to be great. And yet that world they were trying to create didn't really come into existence. Even though we made these great advances, even though women having the right to know about what was in their birth control pills led within just a few years to lower dose, safer birth control pills. But here we are now, you know, coming towards this anniversary in a world in which not everyone who needs it can get birth control. Public policy guys are trying to cut funding for federal family planning, and there's just these really miserable, unfair, inequitable situations. And so one thing I've been thinking about is, why is that? Why did that world that we and the women who were before us were just brilliantly creating, why didn't it come into existence? And I think part of it is, you know, in the United States, we just aren't comfortable talking about sex or talking about planning to have sex. And I think one of the other reasons why we don't have that world that we're trying so hard to make is that this country rations care by your ability to pay. And that applies to men and women, all ages. This isn't just about birth control, but when it comes to birth control, ability to pay still makes a difference. You know, whether it's going in the drugstore and seeing female condoms that are super high priced, or it's going to pick up a package of birth control pills and the copay is really high. And that is the one thing we have a chance to do something about. Through our Raising Women's Voices Healthcare Reform Project has started this really great campaign called Contraception is Prevention. And by the end of this summer, the administration will have announced its decision, and that decision will rule the insurance companies. And if they say contraception is prevention, that means women get it for free, no co-payments. And that would be something else to celebrate this time next year when the next anniversary rolls around. So I hope, you know, if you haven't already, just jump on our website, nwhn.org or raisingwomensvoices.net. And if you have, pass it on to your friends, because this is a campaign we can win and a way we can get that much closer to the world that we wanted to create.